Welcome into No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. I am your host, Joe Zolo. We are almost a quarter of the week now through the NFL season. Feels like just yesterday we were clamoring for football, and now before we even know it, we're a quarter of the way through the season. Another lovely week of injuries comes by us. There's only a few big names, at least for fantasy football reasons. Not as big as week 2, simply because, well, week 2 decimated all first-round picks that were available completely. Joining me, as always, Joshua Hudson and Ryan Weisse. And for the second time back on the show, first time on No Punt Intended, the lovely Linda Ellians. How are you, Linda?
I'm doing well. I get to drink on purpose all night, so that's fantastic.
That's perfect.
Yeah, you got 2 shows tonight, don't you?
Dose.
Yeah, and I got to chug that 24-ounce Truly on Confidential tonight.
Oof.
Mm.
Have fun with that.
Oh, the bubbles got a kill on that, right?
It's not going to be very much fun. I haven't done it in a couple of weeks, so.
Well, after our show. Hey, listen, she's not conditioned. If you don't work out for 2 weeks, the bar gets to you sometimes. Linda's show is going to kick off in about 2 hours, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So after us, catch Nate at 8, I believe, as well. If he's still is Nate's still doing his show, correct? I'm not wrong about that. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to keep going with it unless someone stops me.
Dominated 8.
Dominated 8.
We also have FF Intervention as well.
Yes.
At 8 o'clock. So
a
lot of good stuff going on today.
An absolute buttload.
And we
of
lead
fantasy
everything
football.
off.
Yes. We're the lead back. We're like Adrian Peterson. I mean, can we just real quick?
Can we say maybe 10 years ago?
I want right now.
Don't.
Right now. Josh, right now? Are you kidding me?
He's still on the Lions, dude.
Yeah, and he beat out Carryon Johnson and
That's not hard to do.
I'm just saying, the man's 37 years old. All right, before we get into this, everybody, it's the normal 3 up, 3 down. The 3 down is solely for the Atlanta Falcons this week. I've made the executive decision. It's only for the Atlanta Falcons. Upside, downside, stream of the week, and then, of course, what everyone waits for the entire show, my kicker of the week. And we do have someone else on the show finally that respects kickers in Linda, so I'm very, very happy about that.
Respects is light. It's like there's big love.
Big love. I love that. Big love. All right. Quick news and thoughts before we get into everything. The biggest news, the Titans-Steelers game, if you missed it earlier today, has been postponed most likely to Monday or Tuesday night. If I had to take a wild guess, it's probably going to be Tuesday night, because if the NFL could dominate another night of the week, they would do it. And that would probably be on Tuesday night. But a few players...
Mike Tomlin came out and said it's trending towards Monday.
Well, that's stupid. A couple players in the Titans organization tested positive for COVID. So that's what happened, what stemmed from that. Chris Carson's knee sprain. That was the rookie, correct? The rookie defensive tackle Hill, I believe, for the Cowboys. The Gator
I don't
roll.
know, but that was a pretty
dirty,
egregious play on his part.
Dirty.
Yeah.
They have him listed as week to week. He most likely is going to miss this week with a knee sprain against Miami.
Carlos Hyde.
Yep. Dallas Goedert with an ankle injury. He's going to be out for a few weeks. I mean, listen, if you
pile up for Philly.
If you play for the Eagles and you are at a crucial position needed to win a game, you're automatically injured starting the season. Cornerback. Avonte Maddox. I picked up Avonte Maddox in my IDP league. Injured. Love it. Jordan Reed also on IR. Are we shocked? His is only short term.
Turf
though.
in New York, I'm telling you, man.
It is. Josh, your demon's back. Unplug real quick. Russell Gage, concussion. Gage. Deontay Johnson, concussion. That one hurts. Brian Edwards, ankle injury. Looked decent on a couple of catches against New England. He's out in week 4. John Brown goes down with a calf injury, laid a big fat goose egg in week 3. Tariq Cohen, ACL, out for the season. Chris Godwin, hamstring, out for week 4, possibly week 5. Deshaun Jackson, hamstring. Every Philadelphia Eagle that you think is important and crucial to the team's success is injured.
Dang. You
Give me
lay
John
that
Hightower
juju off of
season.
Miles Sanders.
Okay, yeah. Oh, well, Miles Sanders ain't going to do anything this week against that 49ers defense, and I'm kind of sad about it. But, yeah, there's your whole wrap-up. I'm sure next week it's going to take up the first 5 minutes of the show once again. But starting here with our... Go ahead, Linda. I see you making a face.
You're going to tell me that you're a kicker fan and not mention that Koo is going to be out?
Yes, doubtful.
I read off of the quick news and notes that
That's
Josh
on me.
puts in here.
I wrote that, and quite
All right,
honestly,
well, then
I don't
that's-
care about
that's-
kickers. So.
yeah. He's on one of our teams, you shithead.
What? Keyword. What?
Young Wei Koo. Talk about a guy who improved from his rookie year,
Yeah.
his awful campaign with the Chargers, the San Diego Chargers, and then he comes back now and looks really good with the Atlanta Falcons. All right, our 3 ups here. Linda, Cole Beasley, Andy Isabella, Emmanuel Sanders, giving some love to the slot receivers. Ryan, yeah, Josh Allen, Rex Burkhead because he stole your James White game, and the rookie Justin Jefferson. Josh, you have Tyler Boyd, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Jimmy Graham. I will give props to Jimmy Graham. I know you wrote that
I
in
put
there.
that specifically for you.
Listen. I'm going to talk about Nick Foles in a second. Jimmy Graham, baby. I'm perfectly fine with starting Jimmy Graham at this point. He's actually proven he can do something in Chicago. He has something left in the tank. And myself, Alan Lazard, suck it, Josh. Hunter Renfrow, suck it, Josh. Michael Gallup, about damn time. I mean,
When did I say Renfro wouldn't be?
I don't know. I just wanted to continue. Michael Gallup, about damn time. I guess one guy to go over here. Linda, let's start with your guy, Andy Isabella. Is this something that we should expect from him? You know, maybe not 2 touchdowns every week, but should we expect him to be seeing more targets and potentially a touchdown every other week in that offense?
I would like to think so. Christian Kirk is not the answer. And I don't know that Isabella is the answer, but he made stuff of, he caught 4 for 4 targets, 2 TDs, made it into the end zone on that 2-point conversion. He's a flex in a bye week or for an injury probably, but there's always that idea of like TD upside. He's so fucking fast. I'm allowed to say that, right?
Yeah, you're
you're good.
We don't care. I'll toss the explicit tag on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and they'll be like, don't show this to kids. Doesn't matter. But yeah, I think you bring up a good point. It's a huge upside play with Andy Isabella. It is not, he's not going to get you, 10 targets, 6 receptions, 85 yards. Like, that's on him. He's going to be boom or bust, essentially, and he's probably very matchup based. And go ahead, Ryan.
He played the 4th most snaps out of all those wide receivers.
Just about to say that. Yeah.
Only 26 snaps on the entire week. So, 4 targets on 26 snaps is nice, but it seems like he was very situational. I put in my waiver wire article, if you have a super deep bench, I guess he's worth a stash. But DeAndre Hopkins is the guy there, and they're going to start involving Kenyon Drake more. I'm not on board.
Yeah, I have fire sirens going in the back,
fine.
and I figured people didn't want to hear the Dallas Fire Department in my background. It literally just so damn loud in my apartment. But quickly,
once Kirk comes back, Isabella's going right back to being nothing. The Cardinals led all of the NFL last year in 4 wide receiver sets, and they're second this year. And I'm telling you, that first team is going to surprise a lot of people. I never would have pegged the Buffalo Bills to lead the league so far through 3 weeks in 4 wide receiver sets.
Josh Stallion, baby.
Yeah, there you go.
real quick from YouTube, we have a question from CC Killian 2K. He said, should he do CMC and Devin Singletary for Jonathan Taylor in David Montgomery? This is in a standard scoring league, so catches from McCaffrey don't matter. Josh, I'll start with you on this one. Christian McCaffrey and Devin Singletary for Jonathan Taylor and David Montgomery.
I mean, if you're desperate for now production, I would take the Jonathan Taylor and David Montgomery side. I mean, you've got to assume that Montgomery snaps are going to go up with the Tariq Cohen injury. I still think they're going to roar Cordero Patterson into that rotation a little bit more. And Jonathan Taylor, he's been productive, but still kind of disappointing considering what we all expected from him. But I think that'll, as he gets more reps, starts figuring things out with the offense, that'll improve. Singletary, when Moss is there, he's in a 55-45 split. Like the last week, I believe he was over 80% snaps. So that's great. And he's kind of become that passing down back, even if they're not playing him on blocking third down, so to speak. And with CMC hurt, I mean, it's still CMC. Like, that is the best player in this deal, and I want the best player in this deal. So I don't know that I'd make that move. But again, if you're absolutely desperate for production now, like you're 0-3 or 1-2, then yeah, I would strongly consider that trade.
Because that's the thing, is you're likely not to see CMC again until week 6 if you're lucky, week 8 if you're not. If you need the W, especially in a standard league, I'm good with Taylor and Montgomery's touchdown upside. Otherwise, I mean, I guess, is there a third running back involved? Because if I'm choosing between starting CMC and Singletary every week and JT and Monty every week, I'm starting JT and Monty.
Linda?
Yeah, it's Monty over Singletary for me, but it's CMC over Jonathan Taylor too. Like by a bigger margin than it is Monty over Singletary. So I think I'd stick with CMC and just ride that injury wave, because there are going to be options until you can have him, and then you have him for playoffs.
That's fair. League winner.
I'm the biggest proponent of Christian McCaffrey. I still stand by my quote that he will be the best running back in the NFL 6 years down the road. So it's very hard to trade him, but in this instance, if you're 1-2 or 0-3, trade him. You need the production. If you're 3-0, don't even touch it. Don't mess with the formula. If you have a losing record, move him. You have to, because at that point you're looking at, okay, Taylor and Dave Montgomery should finish as RB2s every single week, with the high possibility they finish as a low RB1 depending on matchup. Singletary's probably an RB2, and when Zach Moss comes back and splits carries, it goes way down. So you're sitting there, Singletary could be a low-end RB2, possibly a flex play, and then you're getting 0 points out of Christian McCaffrey potentially until like week 9, week 10. So at that point, you're getting more points over the next 6 weeks with Taylor and Monty than you are with Singletary and CMC.
I think a lot of Singletary's value comes from PPR and half PPR. In a standard league, once Moss is back, I don't want anything to do with Singletary.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's not scoring touchdowns, so
yeah. He proved that this week.
if this was PPR, it'd be a different story. But if it's standard scoring, I mean, yes, Montgomery and Jonathan Taylor are used in the passing game, but not anywhere near to the extent.
Their predominant value is going to be in standard. Absolutely.
Yes, exactly. So that's why I think you go Jonathan Taylor and David Montgomery right there. All right. We're 13 minutes in, and it's now time to talk about our downsides, which I don't care about any of your downsides. I just care about the Atlanta Falcons. We didn't get enough time to talk about them last week. We grazed over the fact that they don't understand how to recover an onside kick. We grazed over that fact. Who has been the one on this show that consistently says Nick Foles thrives when there is absolutely zero pressure on him?
I mean, it helped that he played a crappy defense.
Absolutely zero pressure on him. Absolutely. I wonder who that guy is, because I think he put out a tweet saying that Nick Foles and his smoke visor were going to lead the Bears to a comeback win.
Right up, didn't you, Joe?
They just, someone must have tweeted it. Some very, very smart human being must have tweeted that.
He's humble, too.
I mean, Linda, I have pounded this drum. Nick Foles, whenever he is pronounced the starter, sucks. Nick Foles, whenever he has come in mid-game as a backup and then proceeds to win the starting job, plays well. The Bears are home underdogs this week. I would bet that. I would argue bet the money line for Chicago. Phillip Rivers is on the other damn side. He doesn't know how to finish games. Nick Foles does. It's like, again, going back to the Atlanta Falcons, what the hell are you doing? Like, what are you doing as a team? How does Dan Quinn have a job?
Yeah, that's
that to me is
that's the biggest question.
And didn't he come out like 2 weeks ago and say he wasn't ready to let any assistants go? Or I think that was after the Dallas debacle. It's like you should have at least fired everybody on Monday.
Coaches that have loyalty to their staff in instances of extreme failure,
don't have
repetitive
jobs for
failure,
long.
mind you,
Yeah.
do not have jobs for long at all. It's sad.
Dan Quinn got his team to the Super Bowl. He's been a
What was that,
below
4 years ago, 5 years ago. It feels like now.
He's been a below 500 coach since then.
Yeah.
He's not a good coach, and it's like, look, maybe he needs a different change of senior, right? Because he's a fantastic defensive coordinator, and everyone's like, oh, but his defense is terrible. Yeah, Jason Garrett's offenses in Dallas sucked, but he's a good offensive coordinator. Like that's the thing is, as a head coach, you have to oversee everything. As a coordinator, you oversee your group. That's the difference. Freddie Kitchens was a terrible head coach. He was a good offensive coordinator because he only needed to worry about the offense. He didn't need to worry about motivating people either.
What if Gaze gets fired and then Atlanta brings him in as the OC?
Dan Quinn and Adam Gase in the same room?
Oh my God! Please let that happen.
Wow. The only thing that'll make that better is Jeff Driscoll as the quarterback.
I just wanted to make a butt-to-butt touchdown joke. That's all. That's all I wanted. And the universe said, no, you can't have it. I'm pissed. I can't make that same joke. Well, actually, I might be able to work with it.
Man,
Don't
yeah, it's
trust
just
Driscoll.
it's just no words for the Atlanta Falcons, and the fact that
And then we've talked about them for 5 minutes now. It feels like
Plenty of words.
it was the funniest thing because I saw the Bears starting to come back, and I wanted to look at what the live bet money line was. The Bears were favored when they were down. Like the Bears were like minus 170 with 5 minutes left in the game.
Vegas ain't stupid.
I'm like, are you kidding? I'm like, I wanted to bet the Bears. Like if the Bears had plus odds, I was like, oh, slap down some money on that. Man, that team is an absolute joke. And I wrote down here, I found out that a nickname for Atlanta is the Big Peach. And I find that appropriate because they love effing themselves right in the ass. I think that's a perfect name for the city. Absolutely perfect name for the city. All right. Now to our upsides. I know Angie's in here. Angie's the resident Falcons fan, correct?
I lived in Atlanta for 3 years. Great town, great food.
Just not a great football team.
Yeah.
I do want to see that stadium, though. That stadium seems very, very
It's
cool.
insane.
Yeah. All right, on to our upsides here. Linda, you are the guest here. Our guest last week, Rob, the FF Gator, wasn't so hot. He was 0-4 last week.
Let's put it this way, Linda. You cannot do any worse than what
possible.
Rob did last week on his
I
own.
love
You
those odds
accidentally
for me.
mentioned 5 names.
Yeah.
I love those odds for me. That seems like it's going to work out great.
So,
Sorry, Rob. We
If I
love
go
you.
4 for 4,
Last week, they weren't it, brother.
if I go 4 for 4, I'm talking all the shit, Rob. Get
I
ready.
love that. Linda, you have Jared Goff against the Giants. You say, sorry, Ryan, but it's always Goff season here. You have Darrell Henderson, same team, against the Giants. T. Higgins, who went off for 2 touchdowns last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Jordan Akins at home against the Minnesota Vikings. Ryan, you also have Jared Goff. He is also your spoiler alert stream of the week. Mike Davis, the running back for the Panthers, home against the Arizona Cardinals. Preston Williams, home against the Seattle Seahawks. And Mo Alley Cox traveling to Chicago, also your stream of the week at tight end. Josh, you have Ryan Fitzpatrick, home against Seattle. Brian Hill in Green Bay on Monday night. Marquez Valdez-Scantling for some dumbass reason against the Atlanta Falcons. And Chris Herndon, home against the Broncos. I thought we discussed this, Josh. Marquez Valdes-Scantling is nothing in that offense. I thought we
keep
discussed
in mind, dude. Keep in mind, I'm trying. Like when I do my upside downside picks, I'm trying to go for players that are 50% rostered or lower, because I write my confidence plays about guys that actually are rostered. So that's why these are more dart throw-esque players versus what you guys throw out, which everybody already has rostered.
And
yet I still have a better record on these upside downsides than y'all, so suck it.
Really? Because you're 4-8 overall, and I'm 6-6, so you can suck
Last
it.
week, you want me to pull all 3-week record? Because I got it pulled up right here.
Josh, I'm just saying I'm better than you. That's all I'm saying.
Not, but sure.
That's absolutely all I'm saying.
I just want to get one right.
Yeah, and then yeah, Ryan supposed to get one right. Ryan was 0-3-1 last week. You also have Chris Herndon as your tight end against Denver on Thursday night. I have Matthew Stafford home against the Saints, David Johnson home against Minnesota, Allen Lazard, the correct wide receiver 2 in Green Bay against Atlanta. And
it's Atlanta. Both of them can succeed. Let's be honest here.
Except
Because Devontae Adams probably won't play either.
Except Valdes-Scantling had 1 catch last week.
Yeah, can't catch balls, bro.
So
yeah, well, nobody on Atlanta can cover him.
Yeah, but I mean, if you can't catch a football, does it matter?
Yeah.
No,
hey, it works for Michael Gallup. He led the league in drops last year.
Yeah, but Michael Gallup's actually a good wide receiver who had 1,000 yards. Marquez Valdes-Scantling runs straight. That's the difference.
Against Atlanta, that's all you got to do.
Listen, I'm just telling you right now, Allen Lazard beats him out. It's not even a question. But starting
I'm not saying that Lazard doesn't have a better week than Marquez Valdes-Scantling. What I'm saying is Lazard has a higher rostership, therefore did not reach my quota.
He's over 50% owned.
Yes, he is.
Wow, Linda, we did our jobs. We really did our jobs with Allen Lazard. We really did that. Quickly before we dive into these, Michael over on Facebook asked, he rolled the dice drafting Danny Boy. I'm assuming that's Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Dropped him and picked up Minshew last week and was not what I expected.
That's not what anybody expected, Mike, I swear.
Yeah. Hold on. Ready? Michael, I'll beat that story for you. My buddy in my league, he bet $300 on Gardner Minshew to win the NFL MVP. So we already lost that bet.
Whoa.
He was very much on the Gardner Minshew hype train, but what he also did was he had Lamar Jackson as his quarterback in fantasy football.
No, stop.
Wait for it. He traded away Lamar Jackson for Gardner Minshew and Melvin Gordon. He put up 90 points this week. So
I mean, to be fair, Lamar has looked terrible too.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, Lamar didn't look great. But he now has Gardner Minshew as his quarterback instead of Lamar Jackson.
Wow.
And we all sat there and said, Nick, that's idiotic. Why would you do that? And it's just...
Hey, when you believe, man.
Michael, I'll top you on this as well, but I feel the pain. I have Danny and Gardner as my 2 QBs in a super flex league, so it hasn't been going well for me at all.
Yeah, I also drafted Daniel Jones. I've been running the waiver wire. Do I roll with him for I mean, look, Minshew had 1 bad week. Don't overreact here.
Out against Cincinnati again this week. So
great matchup against Cincinnati. Look,
they made Carson Wentz a top 12 quarterback. I'm just throwing that out there. And he has looked like dog shit all year.
Yeah, Minshew should be fine. If you're not confident in Minshew, flip the script. Go Joe Burrow on the other side because he's looked really good as well. So yeah, I think there's. I mean, unless you're in a very deep league, which it doesn't sound like because Gardner Minshew is still available. I'm sure Joe Burrow or a guy like Jared Goff is probably still out there.
Yeah, Goff, we'll get to this a little bit later. Goff is amazingly available in over 50% of ESPN leagues. It's not quite as high on Yahoo, but we'll talk about that towards the end of the show.
Yeah, and I'll start with his Rams teammate, Darrell Henderson, who, I mean, Cam Akers is out. He seemed to kind of taken over that backfield. Linda, that Giants defense is absolutely god-awful. Is there much more to say about Henderson this week? Why do you like him?
Well, we talked about it before we went on air that it's just that whole Rams offense is worth playing this week.
And
Henderson, Goff, yeah, and the defense.
Yeah,
that Giants are It's not good. And I don't like to shit on people because it's their jobs, but it's not good. And Goff is a quarterback I took everywhere late. Henderson is a running back I took everywhere late because I had taken Cam Akers early. So both seem to be working out and are going against a less than stellar team this week.
Look, Nick Mullins just threw for 360 yards against. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest here. Like, if Henderson's second string quarterback can do that against the Giants,
and Henderson is seeing all the passing game work as of last week, to where you look at the weeks that McKinnon and Jeff Wilson put up, and that's kind of what you're looking at for Henderson, and to a lesser extent Malcolm Brown as well. I assume Cam Akers is out again.
Yeah, he's questionable, but I don't think he's practiced. I
don't think this is a week where you're forcing him back.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely.
He didn't look that great healthy, to be real honest.
Yeah. I don't think this is a week you try and force him back. And I want to bring this up again from Facebook. Michael says, because Linda's a Broncos fan here.
Well, he's also a Jets fan too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Where's Jake, our resident Jets fan? Jake, if you're over on YouTube, say hi. Linda, Michael says Jets win this week and it's a lock.
But is it?
Thoughts on that?
Well, okay. As a Broncos fan, I'm not necessarily thrilled. Like, I'm not excited. I'm not like, we got this. I wouldn't use the word lock at all. I don't think either the Jets or the Broncos get to say we win and it's a lock. Like the rest of the season, we're not allowed to say it.
The one thing I find interesting, though, is easily the most talented two pieces of offense in this game are Melvin Gordon and Noah Fant. So I understand nobody has any faith in Rippon, but I'm definitely not banking on the Broncos losing this game, because if there's a game that Melvin Gordon could run you to victory, it's against the Jets on a Thursday night. So. Hey,
Frank Gore's on the other side. Timeless wonder.
Dino Gore.
Yes.
I do have faith because I'm a homer as fuck. So,
I love that.
0.1% have faith, and it's me.
Let's keep in mind, too, with third-string quarterbacks, no teams have any tape on them at all. Remember last year when the Lions threw out David Blau? I believe it was on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It sure was.
And he almost beat the Bears.
Yeah. And he had a great game.
And then there's the whole thing that he's probably been working with guys like Deshaun Hamilton and Tim Patrick.
Yep.
Now that they have to step up more with Sutton out, you could see this weird practice chemistry that we've seen time and time again. I can't even remember who the quarterback was for the Jets, where he came in and just him and Robbie Anderson hooked up like 5 times in a row because they had just been practicing together. This was like 3 or 4 years ago, but that's the kind of thing you can see. So,
was that Josh McCown?
Was it? No. It was a young kid. I cannot remember who it was. I'll find it.
Thank you. But yeah, I mean, we have Michael saying Gore has 78 yards and 2 touchdowns this week. Dave Toronto over on Periscope is saying, is it KJ Hamler season? I mean, that could be another guy, but I think Ryan brought up the name Tim Patrick. Like, he's the outside weapon that they have. Hamler's a slot guy. Hamilton can run outside, but primarily he's going to run in the slot. He's a smooth route runner. Like think when you see him, like, you know how Calvin Ridley's very smooth with his route running. Think of that when it comes to Deshaun Hamilton in the slot. I'm not comparing them whatsoever, but Deshaun Hamilton.
Like you were.
Not at all, not even in the slightest. But Deshaun Hamilton runs like that. But I think
Bryce Petty.
Yes, wow, great name, Bryce Petty, out of Baylor, I believe. Correct.
That's another guy that flamed out. Jesus.
Yeah,
out of Baylor. Yeah.
I mean, name me one Baylor player in the NFL that hasn't flamed out. I'm just saying.
Let's not go too far with the whole slot thing, Joe, because right now Jerry Jeudy's dominating slot. Snap.
Oh, sure. So, no, I'm saying. So what? I was just like bringing up Deshaun Hamilton because that's what Ryan had brought up. Yeah. I think who benefits the most this week is Tim Patrick. I think that's the person that benefits the most this week is he's running outside.
Same thing with KJ Hamler.
Tim Patrick. Tim Patrick's better. I think Tim Patrick is better. I think he has more solid hands. He's a bigger receiver, right? Isn't Hamler
huge.
small?
Yeah, he's tall as shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Tim Patrick benefits the most from this because Ryan brings up a good point. Tim Patrick was the one running routes with Brett Rippon and Jeff Driscoll. Like that's who he was running routes with. So, and now Blake Bortles is still in the team, right? What happened to Blake Bortles?
Yeah, that's crazy that this all went the way that it went.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. If Rippon sucks this week, Bortles might be starting in week 5.
There we go.
The quarterback. Go ahead, Linda.
If we're on our 4th starting quarterback next week, it's going to be the biggest bender of my life. Like, I can't. And I've had some benders.
We gotta pray for Linda.
Listen, if Blake Bortles starts another game in the NFL, oh, what a year. The quarterback whisperer, John Elway,
Yeah.
can't figure out his way around a quarterback.
Tapping it to fucking tall guys. It's.
Oh, you mean
I
like
don't know about it anymore.
Paxton Lynch?
Paxton Lynch.
Paxton Lynch.
She said, move it on.
Out of the AAC, Memphis.
Oh, my God in heaven. Yeah.
Might as well go get a Baylor quarterback at that point if you're going to draft from the AAC. I'm sorry.
For him. I don't want to talk about it.
I'm sorry to rip on Baylor. I'm sorry, but they have not had a single good offensive player in the NFL. You're an Oklahoma State fan. You have to say that. Although, hey, look, if Denver sucks this year, maybe they draft Chuba. Who knows? Chubba to the Denver Broncos.
If there's ever, like, as soon as Denver drafts an Oklahoma State player, it's game over for me. You guys think I'm annoying now? Fuck.
Yes. All right, Ryan.
Yeah.
We won't talk about your stream of the week, guys, but let's talk about Preston Williams here because the Seattle Seahawks are out again. Cedric freaking Wilson, who the hell is that?
Yeah.
Goes for
I will
5.
say I actually have him rostered on a Dynasty League, and I
Like
will
what?
screenshot you guys proof of this.
Like what? Who is this kid?
Yeah.
5 catches over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns on what seemed to be the exact same play that he scored on. It
Yeah.
looked like it was a skinny post or a deep drag route. Like one of the two, it was the exact same play from right to left. I mean, Preston Williams, in all reality, should light this defense on fire.
So Seattle's allowing the most yards to wide receivers, which everyone's heard the stat, but I don't
By
know
a
if they've
long
actually seen
shot.
exactly.
It's not even close.
378 yards per game. Second place is 245.
Wow.
Fifth place is 195, almost half. That's just fifth. Is almost half of what.
Now
Seattle
you're
is.
talking about passing yards in general, correct?
No, to wide receivers.
Just to
specifically.
receivers.
Okay.
The wideouts, yeah.
Can I ask who's the second team if you know?
I can get it quick, but I don't have it right in front of me.
That's okay. I was just wondering who the second team was. But that's an
but-
350 yards is like
It's
is
Atlanta.
a
Atlanta's
is
second.
a okay, Atlanta second. Thank you. 350 yards is a great day for a quarterback. And that's just throwing 2 receivers. That's unbelievable.
One thing Josh brought up that I want to refute: Preston Williams is available in 69% of Yahoo leagues, and I think it's more than that on ESPN. So I am also finding guys who aren't available in every league. Josh,
Now you are, because I brought it up last week.
I go for guys that just tend to suck.
By
No,
the
but
way,
it's
I will say that I took an L on Preston Williams last week, but he still scored a touchdown. So I still, in my heart of hearts, it's a win.
You took an L on David Johnson too. He had what, 55 carries for 2 yards?
but in all
Actually, no, that was
seriousness,
a win. He was top 36. So
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. What did he squeak in?
Devontae Parker and Preston
he had 12
Williams
points last week.
are both going to eat. I'm not going to let these boys distract us. We got to move this show.
You got it.
I don't. This is funny. This is funny. What would you rather? Ryan talk stuff that's useful to the crowd, or me shit on Josh? I mean, it's one of the two. Choose how you want to spend your hour with us.
If I get 1 point across, go check your waivers for Preston Williams. You will be
Yes.
shocked to find he might actually be there, and he should not be, and he is going to eat this week.
Preston
Yeah,
Williams
Devontae
should do it
Parker is
this
one of
week.
my confidence plays this week. He's
And he
one
should
of my
be,
plays.
And one doesn't have to fail for the other. I
Yeah.
would love to see Preston Williams get all 378 yards, but they can split it in half. I think it'll be fine.
And another thing for that game, like Seattle typically shuts down tight ends. this is a week that I think Gesicki can buck that trend because they move him into the slot so much. And with Jamal Adams hurting as well, look at what Dalton Schultz was able to do last week, 5 for 50 against that defense. Gesicki can have a pretty good week.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, R.I.P. Blake Jarwin. Sorry, Linda. That was a tough one. I lost my first week's matchup by 1.5 points, and I had Blake Jarwin in the tight end spot, so it was a real dagger.
Since we have Linda on the show, I heard a great question on the Fantasy Footballers. They asked Mike, their resident Blake Jarwin lover, when you see Dalton Schultz have good games, are you happy knowing that you were right about Jarwin, or are you sad because it's not Jarwin?
It's both, because like part of me is like, oh yeah, fuck you, who told me that there were too many mouths to feed. Dak's throwing the ball all over the place, and then the other part of me, like Dalton Schultz's first game, he caught a pass like right by the goal line and just missed a touchdown, and I was like, in my heart of hearts, I was like, Blake Jarwin would have got that fucking touchdown.
What? I said the same thing.
It's like painful, but also I know if he were in there, I'd have been right. And also, nobody can tell me I was wrong.
Yeah,
it's a win.
That's a win. The rest, you're doing the opposite injury victory lap. Most people get mad, but that's a great injury victory lap.
Yeah.
You can't tell me I was wrong.
Dalton Schultz.
We'll never know.
Dalton Schultz has bricks for hands. Like it's so bad. Like he'll catch difficult balls and then drop the easy ones. I don't understand it. But yeah, just going back to the Preston Williams point, Gallup was over 100, Cedric Wilson was over 100, Lamb had over 60, and Amari Cooper I think was in the high 90s. And then Schultz tacked on another 50, and Zeke had a few underneath as well.
Yeah, if you need a flyer, Jakeem Grant and Isaiah Ford are not terrible plays this week.
So I would put Ford above Grant personally, but.
Really? Because Isaiah Ford only played like 26% of the snaps last week. I don't know if that's just because it was the personnel they were in and how they lined up.
I mean, Fitzpatrick didn't even throw for 200 yards in that game. So
yeah, so I like I said, like Ford was just trending down in snap count. So I'm just throwing that out there. I would also start Isaiah Ford over Jakeem Grant at that point, but I'm just throwing that out there. Michael asked from Facebook, thoughts on Jimmy Graham. I'm just going to say consensus. He's a startable tight end right now.
Oh, he's on my downside this week.
Same. He's on my fade list.
Colts are number one against fantasy tight ends.
Yeah.
And it's still Jimmy Graham and it's still Nick Foles. You can have fun with a second half against Atlanta all you want. It's still Nick Foles. It's still that bad offense that we all hated a week ago. So
not good for this week. Maybe
I was going to say, not good for this week, but I would definitely keep him on the radar. I mean, if you have a spot available and you need that tight end, then sure.
Yeah. If I accidentally talked you into Logan Thomas, go ahead and sign Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, Ryan talked me into Logan Thomas, my DFS lineup, and that was...
I don't curse much on this show, but fuck Dwayne Haskins. Fuck
Washington. Hey, I picked up the Cleveland Browns defense in our club fantasy dynasty league.
All I care about when it comes to the Washington football team is that Terry McLaurin made it out of last week alive because Joe put the voodoo on him.
listen, you talk about that, right? I put Mike Williams as my upside, and he goes down halfway through the game, and Keenan Allen goes for 132 yards on 13 catches. Oh, and they should have won that game on that hook and ladder. Let's be honest. Did you guys see that game?
Oh, that would have been so badass.
There was not a single living soul in front of Austin Eckler if he caught that ball.
Yeah.
Oh, that was wide open for him. I wish that worked. And one more from Michael. George Kittle or Mo Alley Cox. You're not sitting George Kittle for Mo Alley Cox.
Yeah.
I don't love that Kittle matchup. Like, outside of that, I'm telling you, outside of Tyler Higbee, Philly shuts down tight ends. It's what they do. But again, it's George Kittle.
It's George Kittle. Yeah. You don't bench George Kittle.
And if he's coming back in healthy, he's their only, that's their healthiest, best option.
Yeah, and they came out and said Kittle could have played last week, but they weren't messing around with that turf, just like I thought, to where that means he's coming back into this one way better. So
yeah. And all right, let's do Josh and mine's wide receivers here because they're on the same team. and Josh is stupid. So I'd like to hear his reasoning behind MVS, why you feel he's an upside this week.
It's the matchup. It's Atlanta. You can look to Allen Lazard all you want. MVS is the big play guy. He's the guy that can put up 100 yards on 3 catches. That's not Allen Lazard's game. He was able to do that last week because New Orleans can't cover slot receivers, and that's what Allen Lazard is. They moved him into that big slot. Atlanta, look, they're not going to be able to cover either of them. That's kind of the point that I'm getting at, okay? And again, I chose MVS because he's less than 50% rostered. They allow the second most receiving yards to wide receivers. Atlanta gets burned by wide receivers. This is going to be a week to where Allen Lazard can play well, but also a week where MVS can hit on some of those deep balls. That's plain and simple. That's the reasoning.
I can't sit here because Rodgers came out and said he trusts Lazard. He has never come out and says he trusts Marquez Valdes-Scantling.
That's fine. That doesn't mean he's not going to throw it to him.
No,
He's
sure.
thrown it to him in the past.
Sure. So many open balls he just drops. And they're like beautiful over-the-shoulder passes that Rodgers could not put in a better spot if Valdes-Scantling wanted it. And he just drops it. Like over-the-shoulder catches have to be the easiest ball to catch. You don't have to move. You stick your arms out and it falls into a basket. And MVS can't catch it. It could simply be the guy's running a 4.3 speed and he's too fast for his hands. Like, that legitimately happens. Like, your shoulders are pumping so much that your arms just can't stand still, and it goes right through your hands. Like, that very much happens. I'm not saying Valdes-Scantling doesn't have a good week, but, man, it has to be... He has to get 100 yards on his 3 catches. Like, that's what he has to get, and he has to get a touchdown.
But if you're going to do that, you're going to do it against Atlanta.
And that's the thing, is that's where you're going to do it. But
I
again,
got you, Josh.
Everyone,
you, Ryan. You understand my logic here.
Everyone knows my stance on boomer bust wide receivers. I hate starting them, especially in a PPR. What did Hollywood Brown do last week? Dog shit. He did absolutely nothing. I hate boomer bust wide receivers. It's just, I don't go with MVS.
But when you're looking for dart throws, that's what you're looking at. Boomer bust options more often than not. You're not going to find somebody that's going to be reliable sitting on your waiver wire to fill in for an injured Chris Godwin.
Sure. I mean, Lazard is not owned in every league. I'm just saying here.
Also Preston Williams.
Also Braxton Berrios. Gonna light the Denver defense on fire. 2 touchdowns in 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen. Braxton Berrios. Go ahead, Linda. You're very mad about that. You're muted.
Unmute your mic.
It's like you're punching me in the face over and over again. Let's just not talk about Thursday Night Football.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the game. Also, I want to give Dave Toronto a shout out here. He can't start MVS with confidence. Appreciate that, buddy. But he could do worse as a desperation flex. No, I completely
Thank you,
agree
buddy.
there.
Appreciate it.
I completely agree there. Josh is still 1,000% wrong because he's still beating the drum that MVS is better than Allen Lazard. But
I never once said that. Oh my God.
Yeah, before the season, you were like, Allen Lazard, psh, Joe, what are you talking about? Devontae Adams is going to get the targets.
I said that the wide receiver 2 in Green Bay did not matter. That is what I said. I didn't specify who it would be.
So the wide receiver 2 in Green Bay right now is Marquez Valdes-Scantling. I'm just pushing that out into the universe. I'm just pushing it out there.
Not, but that's okay.
Little fantasy knowledge just to jump into this argument. Lazard's only available in 31% of leagues.
Ooh.
MVS
only available.
Yes.
You got to word that differently.
MVS is only taken in 31% of leagues.
So you got to reword that.
Yeah.
You want to know why, Josh? Because Lazard's the wide receiver 1 in Green Bay right now. Marquez Valdes-Scantling was wide receiver 2, where Green Bay is
I'll tell
wide
you what,
receiver 2.
when Allen Lazard sees 17 targets in a game, then you can tell me he's a wide receiver 1 in Green Bay. He'll never reach Devontae Adams' numbers, so just stop with that bullshit.
I never said he was going to. I said
you literally just said he was the wide receiver 1.
He is the wide receiver 1 right now because Devontae Adams is hurt. I'm not wrong about that. I'm not wrong about
It's
that.
hilarious when Adam just comes back this week and you're both wrong.
Yeah, right?
I mean, I won't be wrong because
I'm
Alan
not
I'm
Lazard.
rooting for that at this point.
I
won't.
start Lazard. Don't say that shit. to
I'm
me.
sorry, Linda.
I mean, Josh will be wrong
I have
because
to sit with
Lazard.
these guys
No,
every
Lynn
week,
and
so
I
I
are
need this.
starting. We're
bad.
starting Alan Lazard in our pros versus Joe's league. I actually need Lazard to do well.
Lazard. I love Alan Lazard. All right, to our downsides here, which we were actually all much better at the downsides last week. Rob was 2-2, our guest. Linda, you have a little more to live up to on the downsides here, Linda. Tom Brady against the Chargers. Fournette and Ronald Jones. So, Linda
I
could go
agree
0
with
for...
that pick. I
Linda
vote
could
for
go
that
0
pick.
for 5, though, if possible. She has named a fifth player into the mix against the Chargers.
I like to set records, baby.
There you go. Or 5-0.
Yes, or 5-0. This is true. We could have our first 5-0 in the downside spot. Kenny Galladay against the Saints and Jonnu Smith against the Steelers. Again, they're still going to play that game.
Yeah.
Ryan, you have Phillip Rivers in Chicago. Joshua Kelly, where are they? They're in Tampa
Bay.
this week.
Yeah.
Jarvis Landry, who the hell is Cleveland? Oh, in Dallas.
Yep.
Yes, and Jimmy Graham home against the Colts. Josh, you were 3-1 last week. Justin Herbert in Tampa. Wow, we have a lot of people in the Buccaneers-Chargers game.
Yeah, I
from
was
everybody.
noticing that when I was looking at the show doc. Like, apparently just stay the hell away
Yeah,
from
we hate that game a lot. I guess that's going to be the game we're going to focus on. Myles Gaskin against the Seattle Seahawks. Slotty Miller against the Los Angeles Chargers. Again, no Chris Godwin, so Miller's going to move outside. And Hayden Hurst against the Green Bay Packers in primetime Monday night. Myself, I was 2-2 last week. I also have Tom Brady as my downside. Rex Burkhead. Don't buy into it. And Mike Evans against the Chargers. And Travis Kelsey against the New England Patriots. I have my reasoning on that one. I do have my reasoning on that one.
I was gonna say I've never seen show notes like this from Joe. He got reasons this week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because look, right, the 1 week so far that Mike Evans has
Professional Joe picks this week.
yeah. Well, no, these are still like I know this just
Joseph picks.
yeah, these are Joseph picks. So here's the thing, right? Though I made the picks before doing any of the research. Like I just had I had the research to just back me up because I knew I knew why my pick was that way. Mike Evans, his one game against Casey Hayward in his career, 3 for 38. Pedestrian. That's not Mike Evans' numbers, right? That's nowhere near
maybe
Mike
it is
Evans.
now. He literally was like 2 catches on 2 targets last week.
Yeah.
Just both of them happened to be touchdowns.
No,
3
sure.
for 38 and 3 TDs is
Yes.
a whole nother story.
But look, the 1 week he's played without Chris Godwin so far, he looked really good. That was against the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
In Dante Jackson. Like that was no match, right? Casey Hayward also, outside receivers in a Brady-led offense have never scored well against Casey Hayward. Dorsett and Chris Hogan combined for 7 catches and 54 yards. Brandon Cooks, 5 for 26. Brandon LaFell, 5 for 38. He salvaged it with 2 touchdowns. None of these guys compare to Mike Evans when it comes to a bit like literally everything Mike Evans is better at than all of these guys combined, right?
Guys, eat this up because Joe doesn't give you shit like this every week. This is amazing, and stay away from Mike.
I know.
Evans.
He does this again. We're going to have to set up a Patreon.
Yeah.
Listen. I don't make my picks based off of in-depth dumbass analytics. I do it based off of what I see on the field. And receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns is what you see on the field. Casey Hayward shuts down big-name receivers.
I wonder what his spark score was.
I will punch someone if you bring up a freaking spark score. I don't give two shits what he did with Johnny Manziel at Texas A&M, his college dominator rating. All right, now to my Travis Kelsey pick, because that's the
Considering
real
he
big
came
one.
out at 20 years old, I'm sure that dominator rating and breakout age were pretty good.
Breakout age.
I love Mike Evans. This is not the week for Mike Evans. This is not the week. Now to the big one, because Travis Kelsey, obviously, the number 1 fantasy football tight end for the last 5 seasons. Like, what are we up to at this point? One thing Bill Belichick is good at, I mean, he's good at a bunch of different things. I'd say arguably his best trait is shutting down the opposition's number one threat. What did Darren Waller do last week?
Yeah, nothing.
What did he do?
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
I think.
yeah, he had 2 catches and like 9 yards.
Yeah, he
But
had
those
no targets in the first half, I believe.
Yeah, no targets. The 2 catches came in the fourth quarter in garbage time. And look, Jamal Williams has covered tight ends well. Adrian Phillips, when they've had him on there, has covered tight ends well. I don't know who the hell 31 is. I think it's Terrence Brooks. They keep changing numbers in the secondary, but I think Terrence Brooks has covered tight ends well. They were very physical with Darren Waller last week. I watched some of the coaches' film on NFL Game Pass just before the show. They were super physical with Waller. And the issue is, too, and I think Kelsey gets these calls over Darren Waller, there were a couple plays where Darren Waller was very clearly held on his route. I think Travis Kelsey gets some of those calls, but again, what does that matter in fantasy football?
Well, Waller is a wide receiver. Kelsey is a tight end. Getting physical with Kelsey is not going to go their way.
Sure, it may not, but Jamal Williams is 6'2", 220. Like, he's a big guy.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a big guy out of Vanderbilt. Like, they drafted him for his size and his coverability. He was a rookie last year. This is his second year. Last 5 matchups against the Patriots. Last season, 7 for 66. That was Kelsey's best game in the last 5 matchups against them, right? That's 13 points. That's not a Travis Kelsey game, but that's going to get you, low tight end 1 numbers. 2018, the AFC Championship, 3 for 23 and a touchdown. Salvaged it with a touchdown. 5 for 61 in 2018. 5 for 40 in 2017. That was the opening day game. In the AFC Divisional round in 2016, he was 6 for 23. Travis Kelsey is not good against the New England Patriots. He has 1 touchdown in the last 5 matchups. His best game came last year against the Patriots. Yes, recency bias does favor him, and that was in New England. And the only game to go off of in Kansas City was the AFC Championship game where he only caught 3 catches but salvaged it with a touchdown. Look, I'm not saying Travis Kelsey's not going to be a startable guy. You're not sitting Travis Kelsey. But Travis Kelsey's not going to drop 25 points on the Patriots. They have no problem covering Tyreek Hill. They have absolutely no issue covering him. Tyreek Hill does not do well against the Patriots. He'll go for 1 big catch, but that's it. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not going to scare that defense. Mecole Hardman is not going to scare that defense. The one guy that Bill Belichick consistently wants to slow and halt on that team is Travis Kelsey, and it shows game after game when they play Kansas City. Look, I'll probably be wrong because we do top 15 on the downside. If the tight end finishes in the top 15, it's a loss, and I probably will be wrong because I still think Kelsey finishes top 15. This is me telling you he's not going to have a Travis Kelsey-like game this week. He's not going to score a touchdown.
He's averaging 18.6 fantasy points per game through 3 weeks, over or under.
Way under. He's not going to do that.
Way under. I need an exact number.
I honestly think I think he goes 5 or 4 catches, and he's in the realm of 40 to 50 yards. Look, you're not going to stop Travis Kelsey. It is impossible to stop Travis Kelsey in the receiving game. The other thing, too, Kansas City could get up on them excruciatingly quick. So at that point, what's Travis Kelsey going to do? They're going to run the football. So at that point, Kelsey's obsolete. So I don't think Travis Kelsey has. I think Kelsey goes for about 10 points this week. That's where I see Travis Kelsey, 9 to 10 points. So yeah, that's where I'll go with Travis Kelsey.
I say we can give you the W if he's under 10, even if he is top 15.
Well, I mean, if he's under 10 right now, the top 16 tight ends currently score over 10 points per game.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I looked at it, I'm like, I think Kelsey sits around 9-10 points.
You really just need him to not score a touchdown to be right.
and I really don't think he scores a touchdown. I truly don't think he scores a touchdown. New England is so good at covering him in the red zone. I don't understand why. I really don't get it. But they lock down and clamp down on him in the red zone. So yeah, there's my Travis Kelsey, Mike Evans thought, and there's my research. The average Joseph picks for you. So, no big deal. Just
the professional Joseph.
Yeah, and real quickly,
average.
Yeah, not average at all. Also, real quickly, Don't buy into Rex Burkhead. Get out of here. Rex Burkhead does this every year to everyone. Pops off one week. James White wasn't there. James White will be back this week against Kansas City. Rex Burkhead's not doing it again. So, that's not happening. Who wants up next? I know I've ranted for a long time.
We got to let the guests talk.
We got a question. So
we have a question. Oh, baby.
Lee on Periscope.
Lee, our buddy Lee. Should he get Cam Akers or J.K. Dobbins for the rest of the season in a standard? He won't need either for a few weeks. Linda, Cam Akers or J.K. Dobbins rest of the season in a standard?
Probably J.K. Dobbins. But rookie running backs outside of James Robinson has been
disappointment.
Yeah, pretty much the motto of
CEH too.
Well, CEH and listen.
I mean, CEH popped one game, right?
He had a good receiving stat line last week.
Yeah,
CEH and JP, I think, are in a tier where they're not. I'm talking about rookie running backs available to snag if you need somebody in a couple of weeks. And I don't know. If there were other options out there, I would be looking at other options.
Neither.
Yeah.
I mean, what are some possible names that could still be out there? Like,
I can't imagine either one of these guys are out there. This has to be a trade he's talking about. Akers and Dobbins are both well over 80% roster anywhere I've ever seen. So I imagine, Lee, if you want to throw some details in there, I imagine this is a trade or you're looking to trade one away and keep the other.
Very well could be. No, that very well could be. But, I mean, even some lower name guys like Travis Homer for some reason is getting, like, carries in Seattle. Like, if Chris Carlson, that knee sprain turns into something serious, like he re-aggravates that, turns into something serious, Hyde and Travis Homer could split carries. And
then you could see the one and only DJ Dallas get some love.
That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping DJ Dallas gets some love, right? Because Carlos Hyde has been injured in the past, so DJ Dallas could easily come in. And
I would also just like to say that Homer and Dallas were once teammates in Miami. They did pretty well together there, so just throwing that out there.
Josh, how was that Miami-Florida State game that you missed this weekend?
Oh, it was glorious.
Right? The Seminoles lost, right?
Absolutely glorious. Miami scored the most points that any team has scored in that rivalry ever.
Wow.
It was fan-frickin-tastic.
And Linda, how were you enjoying the Oklahoma State throwback pay homage to Thurman Thomas? Correct. Those are. Hold on. Those were some fire jerseys.
She went all fanning right here.
I would wear that helmet around my house as an accessory. Those jerseys, those uniforms need to be in our regular rotation. They're fucking sick. The game less enjoyable, but the jersey, I mean, we won, but still not enjoyable is a strong word. But the jerseys.
Who did they play?
West Virginia.
Oh.
But the Sooners lost, so that was a great part of my Saturday.
Yeah, the Sooners and LSU lost.
Yeah.
Mike Leach.
And Texas this close.
Listen, I mean, at this point, Texas, we should just assume Texas is going to lose.
Texas is back, baby.
No, Texas is very far from back.
Now that we kind of diverted from Lee's question, real quick, Lee, I would favor Dobbins in a PPR because it seems like he's getting more love in the passing game than the rushing game.
Yeah.
Akers, we saw what happened last year with Darrell Henderson with the Rams as a rookie. It feels like that system just isn't meant for rookies. I don't know why, but they seem to struggle. And Akers, before he got hurt, was really struggling. Maybe that changes as the season goes on. I don't love either really rest of season, but I think Dobbins is a lot closer to getting more meaningful snaps if something were to happen to Edwards or Ingram. So,
sure.
Which, by the way, Gus Edwards available fucking everywhere. Gus bus. If you're gonna pick up a back, like I pick up Gus before I picked up Dobbins right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Not rostered in a lot of spots. All right. Gonna focus on the Bucks Chargers game here because we all have a lot of names in that game, and it's a lot of pretty sizable, big fantasy football names that people expected to help their teams. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to name off someone. I'm going to call on someone. You're going to give me an elevator pitch on why they're the downside. Linda, Tom Brady, why don't you like him this week?
Well, like you said, Mike Evans, not a great matchup. No Godwin. Scotty Miller took a day off from practice this week, I know for sure.
Today as well.
Today, yeah. Wednesday.
And then that Chargers defense is better than I think they get credit for. So he popped off last week. That was great. It was fun for me. I had a blast. But this week, I don't see him throwing 3 touchdown passes again.
Josh, to you, Scotty Miller.
When Chris Godwin missed week 2, what'd Scotty Miller do? He disappointed all of us. That's basically my elevator pitch right there. Don't get caught up in the hype. I think this is going to be a week where the tight ends shine, and I'm talking both of them, Gronkowski and OJ Howard. Gronkowski got more involved in the offense last week. We obviously know the connection that Brady has with Gronk, but I think you're going to see a lot of OJ Howard as well, because they can throw out 3 guys that are 6'4" and taller, and that will help in the red zone, especially when you have smaller corners. Casey Hayward's like 5'9". Desmond King is only like 5'10". Chris Harris Jr. is out, which doesn't help their secondary any, and Derwin James is gone as well. So I think if you throw out those larger bodies, Tom Brady has a much better target window to work with guys that have larger catch radiuses.
Ryan, Joshua Kelly.
Tampa's only allowing 50 rushing yards per game to running backs, but they are allowing 8 receptions and 70 passing yards. That's the Eckler type of game, not the Josh Kelly type of game. He got benched for a fumble last week, and that's one of the things I've been trying to get across to people is these rookie running backs do not have their coach trust, and one mistake can get them sat down.
Those reception numbers kind of surprise me because Levante David, Devin White, and Antoine Winfield, again,
Devin White can't cover anybody.
Yeah. He's just fat.
He's fast. That's it.
Yeah.
But his coverage skills are god-awful.
Okay, all right, so I'm wrong about that. Look, I don't watch enough Bucs games to know who's covering the running backs out of the backfield, but my guess was, one of those two, David or White, and then Antoine Winfield, the rookie, who has looked very good through 3 weeks. But I mean,
they move him up and down from the slot, though.
Yeah, they move him up and down. They sometimes put him as the sub linebacker. But again, that's another one.
He's like 5'9". He's a small guy.
Yeah, but I'm talking covering running backs. Like Eckler's not.
Well, no, but what I'm getting at is you line them up in the slot, and if you split out Gronk or OJ Howard, that's a mismatch everybody wants to take advantage of.
Antoine Winfield's on the Bucs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I knew that. My bad.
Yeah, no, he can't do that. But no,
everything I just said, guys.
Yeah, no Derwin James. I mean, I was so high on Derwin James for IDP this year. Yeah, Derwin James is a killer. But yeah, there's the wrap up.
Well, there you go. There's a chance for Hunter Henry to do well.
Yeah. I mean, Hunter Henry may be the only guy, and look, Hunter Henry's not going to let the world on fire.
Eckler, I think, are really the safest guys for me in that offense because 100%. Carlton Davis is probably going to line up a lot on Keenan Allen. They'll move him around, obviously, but
listen,
Herbert obviously is going to look for him. So even just from a volume perspective, Allen could do okay.
19 targets.
Carlton Davis haven't seen as smooth of a route runner as Keenan Allen yet. So,
he might be one of the few wide receivers. And I say few, and I'm not saying like 3. Obviously, there's a larger number, but one of the few wide receivers that is ultimately matchup proof, in my opinion. Like
he could beat anybody.
So good.
Yeah, you can't cover him, and he doesn't have to be the fastest guy. You just can't cover him.
So damn smooth. So damn smooth with his route running. All right, moving into now Ryan's Stream of the Week from the Stream Master General. May have to remove that title.
Another rough week. Did great on defense, not so great on quarterback and tight end.
I think you're okay on quarterback this
week. Well, hold on. Knock on wood here. Knock on wood.
Right. This will be the 1 week the Giants fucking show up. So
let's not go overboard. We had Jared Goff in week 1 as well, and that was an utter disappointment against the Dallas
He
Cowboys.
just didn't throw a touchdown. That's the problem.
Utter disappointment.
And then
Yardage
Jimmy
was-
Garoppolo goes down. You want to talk about a kiss of death? My stream of the week might be the damn kiss of death.
Don't you dare! Goff is Linda and I's quarterback in Bros worth Joe's, and you're in a different conference. So take that juju elsewhere.
But yeah, Goff wouldn't even be on this list if it wasn't for ESPN fantasy managers right now. He's only available in 29% of Yahoo leagues, but somehow 54% on ESPN, and that's going to come up again later. The Giants are a plus matchup. They're allowing 250 yards and 2 touchdowns to opposing quarterbacks right now. That's basically the same numbers Goff is already putting up on a per game basis. He's going to crack the top 15, and he has top 10 upside if he drops a 3rd touchdown on those guys.
Mo Alley Cox, tight end.
Yeah. So most of our people, I think, know that I'm also a writer for the Fantasy Footballers, and they love Mo Alley Cox, has the nickname of Gigantor. He is a mountain of a man. Trey Burton, Jack
Big
Doyle.
Mac. Why didn't anybody come up with that? Seriously.
There you go, MAC.
Good job.
Nobody else can stay healthy. Trey Burton, Jack Doyle. Cox's role is steadily increasing. This is a guy that's been in that offense for at least 2 years, and it might even be 3 years. It's something where he's developing. He just had his first 100-yard game in week 2, and then he scored his first touchdown of this year last week. He's doing different things in different games. The Bears, a lot of people look at them as a solid defense. They're actually surrendering the 9th most PPR points to tight ends, and Cox is going to have a huge role in that game. He's available in more than 75% of the leagues everywhere. If you took my terrible advice on Logan Thomas, if you lost Blake Jarwin, Mo Alley Cox is a guy you want to play this week.
I'll also throw another nickname out there, Mac Truck. That could be another one that we could use.
That one.
That just makes me think of the WOP song.
WOP. Nope, I can't say anything. Because it's all going to be inappropriate. It's all going to be inappropriate. Can't say anything. I mean, do we need to explain the Rams defense? They're playing the Giants.
I have things.
Let's go. I love things. I love things.
I do
Go with
need
your
to
things.
throw a caveat out here. Again, they were available in more than 50% of ESPN leagues. I checked before we jumped on the show today. That's already went up 10%. So you need to get them now. They probably won't even be available when my article drops on Friday. The Giants give up the 4th most fantasy points to defense and special teams. They just gave up a top 5 week to San Francisco last week, and we know about their injury concerns. So any holes you think might exist in the Rams defense, the 49ers had those same holes, and the Rams have Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald is going to make Daniel Jones's life hell. And in one of my articles I wrote this week, I won't be surprised if Aaron Donald has more fantasy points than Daniel Jones this week. And Daniel Jones is actually on my stream list, but he's like further down. Aaron Donald's going to put in some work this week.
Joe,
Donald. We're going to need clarification on the IDP points when we go into next week. I'm just throwing it out there. Make a note right now because I'll forget.
I have the only full Rams game I watched was that Sunday night game in week 1. Donald looked great in week 1, but holy shit. Watching the Red Zone channel of that Bills game, Aaron Donald is on a mission this year. He wants the NFL MVP. He doesn't want defensive player of the year. He wants NFL MVP, and he looks like it. Like, Donald sometimes gets off to a slow start. This guy looks unreal this season. So if he doesn't have 4 sacks, I'd be shocked. There's no one on that line that can stack up with him.
Just remember, he started the offseason in prime time because the Rams were featured on Hard Knocks.
Dude.
He's primed and ready.
Dude, Donald's a
He's
beast.
like a really mobile tree trunk, bro. Like,
Oh my god. He's
Someone
ripped.
that big and strong should not be allowed to be that fast. He is
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lethal weapon.
I'm not that big, and I'm also not that quick.
He's 6'1", 285. There's some like 6'6" defensive tackles that don't weigh that much.
Yep.
6'1", 285. What does he
especially
run?
considering that most interior guards are not even at least 300, but a lot of them are like 320. Like he's ceding 40 pounds to most of these guys and making them his bitch. Like it's unreal.
Aaron Donald has the fastest 40-yard dash by a defensive tackle in combine history.
Yeah.
He ran a 4.68 at that size. Didn't Zach Moss run like a 4.7? Or they were like running
5, I think.
So Zach Moss, who is a much smaller human being than Aaron Donald, ran roughly the same 40 time. Ridiculous. Absolutely.
I don't think I could run it under 5.
The fastest I ever ran a 40 was 4.8. And I'm 5'9", 170. Like,
I'll race you tomorrow.
Years ago, but I think I was like a 5'4". So
his agility score was in the 98th percentile. His 40-yard dash was in the 100th percentile.
Aaron Donald
speed score was in the 99th percentile.
I love Aaron
His
Donald.
bench press was in the 93rd percentile.
yeah.
Best defensive lineman of all time. Deacon Jones, Reggie White, Aaron Donald. Like that's how it's going to end up. 2 Rams are going to be 2 of the best 3 defensive linemen of all time. Deacon Jones, who does not get talked nearly enough about.
Because the sack didn't exist yet.
The sack didn't exist, and if it did, they counted. He would have had like 250. He would have smashed Bruce Smith's record. But yeah, Deacon Jones, one of the best D linemen of all time. All right, my kicker of the week. Everyone's been waiting for it.
Nobody cares about yours. I want to hear Linda's.
All right, we'll add on Linda's. Linda, I have Daniel Carlson this week against Buffalo. Second game of the Death Star. John Gruden has no ball sack to be found, so he's going to kick a lot of field goals. Absolutely no sack of a man in John Gruden. Who kicks 3 points in the fourth quarter in Foxborough? Who does that?
Probably the same guy who punts with 19 seconds left in overtime to settle for a tie.
Yeah, that was bad, right? Okay, yeah, I understand that you got pushed back 5 yards, right? You should be mad at the guy who got pushed back 5 yards, but still, Elliott's made a 61-yard field goal and like cleared it halfway up the uprights. Let the dude kick a 64-yarder.
And my whole
At
thing
least
is,
give him a chance to.
a tie is as bad as a loss. So at least you either win or you lose, and there's no guarantee you lose.
Honestly, what is going to get you more respect in the locker room? Because it ain't punting with 19 seconds left in overtime. I'll tell you that much.
Plus, now special teams knows that they have no confidence that they can stop a 99-yard return for a touchdown. Fuck you.
And the defense was the best thing going for the Eagles on Sunday.
Yeah, it's like, look, I understand the side of, okay, if Elliott misses it, the Bengals get it in Eagles territory.
Sure.
Yeah, I understand that. Randy Bullock is not a good field goal kicker.
No. Yeah, we saw that already.
Yeah, we've seen that already. So it's like, look, you go for the win or lose. If they lost, they're still 1 game out of first place in their division. 1 game out of first place in their division if they lose.
Yeah, with a tie, they're a half game out.
Oh my God, that division's a joke.
Allowing ties. I'll watch 12 overtimes. Fuck a tie.
That division's a joke. Also, Cooter Doodle says Aaron Donald all the sacks, Gruden no sack. You could not be more correct about that. You could.
If you all do not follow this bitch on Twitter, it's the same handle, Cooter Doodle. She is the funniest bitch. She cracks me up at least once a day.
I love it. I love it.
Don't do it.
Cooter Doodle. The Aaron Donald, all the sacks, Gruden, no sack. No, that is the perfect culmination of the show so far. And all right, so my blurred lines this week, dude. Screw Arizona. What the hell was that last week? They cost me.
That was a high line, dude. That really was 6 points. That was a high line. I'm just saying.
It's the Detroit Lions! Ah! 3 interceptions! I have to move the mic away because I'm yelling. 3 interceptions? Kyler, what are you doing? And 2, they weren't even like good plays by the defense. They were Kyler being a moron. Like he wasn't even throwing to open receivers. He was like, oh, Jeff Okuda's right there. I played against him in college, I think. I don't know. Let's throw to him.
See, this is why I don't gamble, gamble.
What the hell?
I have anger management issues, and that would not be good.
They cost me $80. I bet $50 on them on the money line. Arizona, what are you doing? Oh, it was painful. It was so painful.
I will say this. At least you're putting your money where your mouth is. So kudos on that.
Look, I told you I will bet every line that I put out this year. I will bet every single line that I put out this year. And
Well,
I already
hope
put
for your sake, you're 60% or above it seems.
I do as well. Trust me, at this point I do as well.
As
Look, hey,
does
listen.
your girlfriend.
listen, I'm not putting. I only put 50 on the money line because they were like minus 245, and I was so damn confident, and I hate it. My dad jinxed us on Instagram. He says if it's that confident, it's normally a trap. Screw you, Dad. You jinxed me. Screw you, Dad.
Oh, we got Maggie in the comments.
I love this.
Maggie, you're supposed to be working
Oh,
out.
the girlfriend stepped up. Stop betting.
Maggie, it's my money. I do what I want with it. We're not married yet. I can do whatever I want with my money.
For those who don't know, Maggie makes the show go round. So
Yes,
kudos.
Maggie
I'm on Maggie's side. You better be fucking nice. You hear me?
Listen. It's my money. I do what I want with it. All right, so I'm 1-1-1 so far. Look, we pushed. I'm technically 2-1, right? We technically pushed. We're winning money. FU Kyler Murray is what I have in my notes. 3 interceptions. This week, I'm picking Detroit because they screwed me last week. They screwed me last week. So I'm going to pick Detroit this week. No, I actually,
you're
look.
doubling down. You know this is the week that Detroit's going to screw you.
Oh, yeah, because of course. It was funny because last week I was looking over and there were 2 home underdogs last week. One of them was the Minnesota Vikings. And I sat there and said, I like the Vikings, but I'm not confident enough in them to put money down. I was more confident in the Cardinals. I should have freaking taken the Vikings, idiot me, because they looked great last week.
Mr. King of going with his gut, and you didn't go with your gut. That's just
my brain said don't bet the Vikings. My gut said bet the Cardinals. Those are my
so
gut
what you're
said.
saying is you should listen to your brain.
No.
Right? Yeah.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
No, because the gut so far 1-1-1. No, Detroit is +4 at home against the Saints.
Have
The
we seen
Saint-
Alvin Kamara the past couple weeks? I'm just saying.
Have you seen Drew Brees? Looks like he's playing quarterback with his eyes closed.
You don't
Taysom
need
Hill.
to open your eyes when you have Alvin Kamara.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
The Saints just aren't themselves, right? Taysom Hill, why is he still in the NFL?
Jesus.
Why is he still in the NFL? Also, Sean Payton, why is he still a head coach? That's a terrible call. Sean Payton, look, Detroit doesn't have to win. They just have to lose by less than 4 points.
So by a field goal.
Yeah, essentially, right?
Kenny Galladay's back. Marshawn Lattimore's look like dog shit. So
That's the point.
Today.
Adrian Peterson revenge game, right? He was with the Saints for 4 games.
he was
I
also
actually
with the
did
Cardinals.
consider that when I was making my projections.
Adrian,
he
was with the Cardinals
had
and he looked good.
He had a decent game against the Cardinals too. So yeah.
Adrian Peterson revenge game. Look, that rarely played into my stuff, but no, the biggest thing that played into it was the Saints defense has not looked that good. Right? They've gotten torched by tight ends specifically. And they've gotten torched in 2 straight weeks by the Raiders. And look, the Lions have a better offense than the Raiders. Right?
This is DJ Hawkinson game. I can see it already.
Hawkinson,
of course, I thought he was going to do well last week. And honestly, if not for a Jesse James touchdown, if that goes to Hawkinson,
Exactly.
boom.
yeah.
No.
I've never yelled "fuck Jesse
Right
James"
logic?
louder in my life.
I didn't even know Jesse James was still in the league.
Yeah, he
honestly.
caught a touchdown.
Big Hawkinson week, I think, this week.
I'm huge on him.
Get him in your DFS lineups for sure. So
Yeah, I know because I asked Ryan before the show why he didn't have Hawkinson. He said because he was more than 50% owned. Every league that I looked in, Hawkinson was available, so he's probably available in your league.
He's a lot of people's upside pick this week, which scares me because usually when everybody's beating a drum,
we're all
it's
wrong.
all flat. Yeah, it
Bites us in the
I feel
ass.
like it's been that way every single week this year. On
Gardner
at least one
Minshew.
week.
Yeah,
Yep.
Gardner Minshew.
Prime
But-
example.
Look, my
Beautiful bastard.
my biggest reasoning behind this Detroit pick is I love home underdogs, and Washington is a +13 home underdog against the Ravens. Stay away.
Ravens are going to smoke them.
Stay away from that. Stay away from
that's
that.
not even a question at this point. Chase Young not playing, Lamar Jackson getting disrespected by Patrick Mahomes on Monday night. Yeah, no. I don't
know why people thought Baltimore had a chance in that game. Kansas City smokes them every time they see them.
Yeah.
Because I don't like the Chiefs.
I don't like that. Listen, Linda, I don't like the Chiefs either. I'm right there with you. I don't like the Chiefs either. But my biggest reasoning for this, home underdogs, they're coming off a huge road win when they finally have their entire offense intact, and their defense didn't look that bad either. They held one of the most electric offenses so far this year and one of the brightest young quarterbacks in the league to a pedestrian offense and 3 interceptions. And we all thought Kenyon Drake was going to bust out this week. 72 yards? Kenyon Drake didn't do anything. He barely made it into a flex start this week. So, Alvin Kamara should play extremely well.
Well, I was going to say, Kamara, Drake.
No, 100%. Kamara's going to have a good week because Kamara is the focal point of that offense. Kenyon
Especially
Drake is
with Michael Thomas out.
Yes. Kamara's going to have a good game. I'm sorry, Alvin Kamara is not going to win you a game. Alvin Kamara is not going to win you a game. Drew, he's not. Ryan, he's not going to win you a game.
He'll win you a fantasy game.
He'll win you a fantasy game.
Sorry, my brain thinks fantasy. My bad.
Yeah, no.
Conversations.
He's not going to win you a football game.
I apologize. That's my face automatically thinks fantasy, and I was
That's why I said that, right?
Yeah, he's not going to win you a football game.
I can't control my face.
Yeah, no, he'll win you a fantasy football game, 100%. He's
For
not
anybody listening on the podcast, please start tuning in on Wednesday nights when we record this.
Yes, or just watch back on YouTube or Twitch. He's not going to win you a football game. He's not going to put you on his back and win you a football game. I'm sorry, Kamara's one of the better running backs in the league, but dude, it's got to rely on your quarterback. And right now, I take Matt Stafford 100 times out of 100 over Drew Brees right now. Drew Brees, you want to talk about noodle arm? Drew Brees has a noodle arm right now.
Yeah, his ADOT is disgusting.
Yeah,
it's even lower
Ready?
than what it's been the last 3 years.
I love that.
Hold on.
People are trying to turn it into this chicken versus egg conversation. Is it so low because he has Kamara? It's no, Kamara is his saving grace. And
right.
No, hold on.
There's a reason they drafted him.
Yeah.
Here's the one time I'll bring advanced analytics into my argument. Drew Brees completion percentage. Drew Brees completion percentage.
I'm gonna need you to change your name, Joe. It's Joseph Zolo.
Joseph.
Right? It's
more formal.
You're a completely different person.
We might have to throw a Mister in front of that.
Well, just because he brings up average depth of target.
Dr. Zolo.
Listen, everyone has brought up Drew Brees has this incredible completion percentage over the last 3 years. Yeah. He's dumping down to Alvin Kamara, and he has the best receiver in the league where if you throw it within 25 feet of him, he's going to catch the football. I could have a 75% completion percentage, stepping back 5 yards, seeing, Michael Thomas is double covered, and then dumping down to Alvin Kamara.
No, you couldn't.
But that's right.
It would take me 2 seconds. It would take me 2 seconds.
Time I've ever made that I could do that was if Ben Roethlisberger and I were in a very short race, really short.
Ben is slow
because I'm really out of shape, but he's slow. I got burst. It's just the stamina is lacking.
Just make sure he's not chasing you into a lady's bathroom.
No, I wouldn't race there. I'm gonna turn around and.
Oh boy. Okay. Ryan, he's he was saved by God. I don't know what you're talking about. Saved by God. You want to talk about guys that were slow? Anybody see that Sony Michel 46-yard run?
Oh, God, that was terrible.
Yeah, that was.
Look, great read, great run, great move.
He's like running in hummus. What are you doing, bro?
I sat there and I'm like, was it just people were really slow in college, or did you just really?
Bill Belichick got straight up duped on that first round pick. Oh my God,
man, I'm
straight up duped.
I'm sitting there. I'm like, James White could outran the defense.
Yeah, so was I.
J.J. Taylor could outrun the defense. Oh, that was. Look, I'm happy Michelle understood, how to play football last week, but I'm not buying into the hype. He needs to do it consistently.
Nope.
Wow, this show was off the rails. We ended on Ben Roethlisberger chasing Linda into a bathroom. That's how we ended the show.
Listen, he's big, but I'll fight that motherfucker.
Just tug at the beard.
Yeah, I just found out that Linda's 5'10".
Oh.
Like, really?
I'm now afraid.
I would not have guessed that. The way that she angles this camera, I'm like, yo, homegirl's like,
listen,
probably 5'6" tops. Like, okay.
I never. My girlfriend is 5 foot on the dot. I never expect anybody to be taller than because like my mom's 5'3", my grandmother's 4'11". Like I don't expect anyone to be taller than that. I don't know why. Like it surprises me. No one in my family has reached the peak of like 5'6". So I just always assume that women are like just much shorter.
Well,
if I ever meet Linda, I'm getting a piggyback ride.
But hey, an MRI doctor told me the other day I was petite, so everybody can suck a dick.
There you go.
My favorite doctor ever. He was like, "Oh, you probably need the petite ring." I was like, "Fuck yeah, you absolutely right. That's what I need, petite." But the reason that came up is because of that water bet. My friend that it is 5 foot.
Were you seriously going to forget about that, Joe?
No, I had it.
No.
I'm just waiting for it to come up organically.
I got the sneak attack, by the way. And we were
Here's Linda getting
Hello!
water sprayed on her.
For those who needed context on why Linda was getting water thrown in her face, Ryan, Linda, would you like to share?
So it all started. All Linda was trying to do was pump her guy, Philip Lindsay, up.
No.
No, you were happy he was back in practice. I told her that he was going to walk right back out of practice when he saw Jeff Driscoll at quarterback. She thought he would be good enough. I disagreed, and we used the Fantasy Footballers Wheel of Water to settle our bet. I gave Linda, I thought, great odds, where all he had to do was finish 20th or better. Just so everyone knows, I had him at 31 in my projections, and he finished at 31.
The benching could have actually. It probably would have been worse had he not gotten benched.
Nervous. So. Well, I was nervous in the third quarter because one touchdown would have put him over, and I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" And then they benched him, and I was like, "All right, that works." So.
Wow. So
not my best bet.
But Linda is a great sport.
It's not like I was rolling, like telling people, like play Jeff Driscoll. That's what everybody was
not
like.
at all. This was me throwing jabs at Linda. Exactly. No, it was.
This is what we do. We have fun on Twitter and we throw water on each other. Okay,
that's right.
Mm-hmm. True that.
Yeah. Joke about Ben Roethlisberger.
Or that.
My bad.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
When you set yourself up for jokes like that, like that's not on us. I'm gonna use the material.
Listen, it's 2020. I want to be cautious of every person and being sensitive, but I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
I'm from Northeast Ohio. Anti-Ben Roethlisberger jokes just roll off the tongue.
I love it. And
we got one more question.
Yes, one last question slided in. Sam Joshi at the buzzer. Noah Fant or Justin Jefferson this week? That's interesting. Justin Jefferson coming off a huge week against the Titans, traveling now. The 0-3 Vikings will play the 0-3 Texans, who have a terrible secondary. But Noah Fant on Thursday night against another terrible secondary, the Jets, but he's playing with third-string quarterback Brett Rippon. Linda, we'll start with you because this involves one of your Broncos. Who would you take, Noah Fant or Justin Jefferson?
Noah Fant is one of two viable options in that offense. And this is not because I'm a Broncos fan, but Justin Jefferson has to compete with Adam Thielen. So there's other people to throw the ball to. I love Justin Jefferson. I have him a lot of places. He was, of course, on my bench everywhere last week, but I'm not ready to roll out a rookie that had a fantastic week over a guy that's proved he can. I think he's like tight end 4 right now or something, over a guy that's shown consistency week in and week out.
Tight end 3, Linda.
Yeah. That's what I thought, but I was like, that's high.
I went and checked my rankings. It's closer than I thought it would be, but it's Fant, but I actually only have them 3 points apart. So
Tight. Okay, Josh.
I also would take Fant. Young quarterbacks, they're going to look at safety valves. Noah Fant, tight end, that's what they are. They're safety valves.
Indeed.
I think, again, just like Linda said, that's the most viable option. Trust what's gotten you here so far. Fant is that option. Justin Jefferson right now, the Vikings are tied with the Baltimore Ravens with the fewest passing attempts through 3 weeks. They are not a passing offense, okay? Do not get hyped up and caught up in this hype train of Justin Jefferson right now. It's the same offense as last year, just a different coordinator. They're not going to throw the football a ton. They've shown that in losing 3 games to start the year. If that's not stubbornness at its finest, I don't know what is, okay? They're content with losing by running the football, clearly.
Tank for Trevor.
Yeah.
Tank for Trevor.
Like 12 teams are tanking for Trevor. It's not like...
Yeah. No, I know.
Well, it's a good thing there's also Justin Fields and Trey Lance.
there you go.
Spencer Rattler.
Oh, fuck off.
Listen.
I'm so glad we're going to end on that one.
Yeah. A good old F off to end the show. Like I'll take Fant there as well. He's just more reliable. If you really think you're going to be chasing points, Justin Jefferson, just because of the big playability. But again, everyone knows my stance on big play guys. Screw them. Don't put them in your lineup. I'll take Noah Fant. I was a big fan of Fant before the season started. I thought him and Locke were gonna have a good connection, and I was either Josh.
Yep.
Yeah, they did. No, they did.
Got hurt.
And then someone said it. Young guys are going to look to safety valves and big targets. And no offense, the biggest target and the biggest safety valve on that team, most trustworthy guy throwing the football right there. So I would go Noah Fant. All right, that is Week 4 show of No Punt Intended, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of laughs, a little longer, but definitely worth it.
I seem to have that going for me. Every time I'm on a show, people are like, that was longer than it was supposed to be.
I mean, by like 10 minutes.
Because you make it better.
Yeah, you make it way better. Are you kidding me? Thank you, Linda, for stopping in. And remember, you can catch her show in just about 30 minutes here. Real quickly, I'll answer this one from Hyunwoo Jung. I apologize if I'm saying that name incorrectly. Half point PPR. Trade Kareem Hunt and receive David Johnson. He'll play him in the flex with upside. No, you keep Kareem Hunt in that instance. I see Josh responding there as well. Everyone giving the nod. You keep Kareem Hunt in that instance. I have David Johnson as an upside this week because I like what he could do against Minnesota. Don't like what he could do the rest of the season. His volume will be there, but Hunt has a way bigger upside than David Johnson does, especially in a half-point PPR. All right. Linda, one more time, where can everyone find you?
Well, I'll be on Fantasy Football Confidential in about 30 minutes. But you'll find that link on my Twitter where I obnoxiously spend every waking moment.
Great Twitter follow.
Yes.
And then I write a streamer article for Fantasy's Sake, and you can find them on Twitter at FFSQC. You can find them on Facebook too. It's just for Fantasy's Sake. And I hang out with some guys over at Sons of Dynasty. We do a goofy sit-start every Thursday. So that's where you can find me, mostly on Twitter.
Awesome. Perfect. And it's Lindellians, not Linda Lions or any of these crazy concoctions that people decide to come up with. You can follow Josh at the 100 Sodian, Ryan at the Fantasy 5, myself at Joe_Zolo. My favorite listener for the day at Cooter Doodle. Because of the Aaron Donald has all the sacks and Gruden has no sack. That's the best comment of the day right there. You can follow Club Fantasy on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Club Fantasy FFL. The URL is clubfantasyffl.com. Correct me if I'm wrong, Joshua. We have Kira's first article dropping this weekend, correct?
Should be on Friday, yes.
Should be on Friday, yes. It will be strictly focused on DFS. That is her specialty, so look out for that on Friday. Always remember, defense wins championships, offense wins fantasy football. Same time, same place next week with Eric Ludwig, a writer with the Fantasy Footballers, and as well, tune in on Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern for our Start Sit Different Day show, hosted by the one, the only, Faith Enos.